There we are. All right. I'll see you again soon. Oh.
Okay.
Mm. Working within the mind of the medium is one of alignment. Making the path as straight and true as it possibly can be. Anyone that is challenged by finding a spiritual connection, it is the alignment with spirit to allow the flow of energy that they may need work with. Once the pathway has been trod and the ground compressed, then the connecting through to life beyond the veil becomes smoother and easier. It is the formation of that initial pathway which separates the beginner to the advanced. The beginner trying to find his way through the jungle, and the advanced following the path. So the advanced person knows which way to go and aligns themselves with the truth on the other side. But the beginner struggles with every obstacle known and unknown. But it is the creation of that path that they must follow. Of course, then, it is not an instantaneous creation of a path, but rather one which takes some time and effort. And there are many skills which are required. But most of all, patience, tolerance, perseverance. To the beginner, it is a mountain. To the advance, it is but a step. So when faced with a mountain, the beginner, of course, has the trials that must be faced, the techniques that must be learned. And quite often, they are tested to such a degree that they may give in. But once the advanced person has taken a step and stepped into the belief and the knowing of all things spiritual, that is not the end of the journey, rather it is the beginning. It is getting to first base, first comprehension. It is like the meditator whose first step is to still the mind. It is not the end, but the beginning. The beginner may take some time for the mind to be moved past. But the advanced then has the right machinery to undertake the journey that is then required of it. It is no difference in the period of transition from physical to non-physical, when you leave your body. Those which are unaware of the spiritual realm have all the struggles of coming across the bridge. And those which have the memory of doing it many times before, for them there is almost no bridge. They step from one land to another. They close their eyes and they open them again. Now, your spiritual progress is along the same way. The awakening to yourself and beginning your journey from there. The mind, of course, is the battle. The understanding that you are beyond the mind appears to be the goal. Working from that higher state is the comprehension. So after our healing today, I wish to take you into an exercise that you can take a step beyond the physical form into the realization that there is more. I will talk more about that in a moment. Your progress in your spiritual understanding, and I must put commas around that word progress, because it is only progress from your side. From our side, it is just opening your eyes. It is the gateless gate. If you understand Buddhism, you will understand that phrase. But let us push on and leave the preamble behind and begin our journey into where we need to go today. So I understand, Brandon, we have a healing list. May I have that now, please?
Yes, we do. We can start with Vince, Craig, Karen, Jasmine, and Chantel, Mrs. Hayes, Anne, Pia, Maxine and Mike Eskins, Helen, Ellen and Adam, Teresa, Denise and Steve, Carl B., Chris and Howard, Bob and Kath, Michelle E., Jane, Carla Ray, Rasma, Lisa, another Lisa, Grace and Rosie, Erica, Mary, Tracy, Eric, Stephen and Matthew, Jill and Katie and Mitch, Marianne and Jody, Stephanie, Baby Horse O'Malley, Angelina, George, Andreas, Stephanos, Irene, Stella, Dimitri, and Miria. Thank you.
Within your life, you're very much attached to the physical form and the humanness that you come here to observe. Yet, has been spoken many times, you are much more than the physical body. The physical body has been given to you for a period of time. And yet this physical world is full of the trials and tribulations that you must face. And the trials involve many hurdles that you have already faced, and I am sure there are more to come. And yet you know that you are more and believe you are more. But to go beyond the physical self while still in the physical is an exercise that can take you to greater awareness and understanding. Coming into the clarity of your higher self, your conscious self, that is just here to observe that part of life, will mean that all troubles will be faced in very different ways. The difficulties that you have to face on your daily basis can be stepped away from. The mountains you are expected to climb, smoothed over and perceived how they are. With practice, with this exercise, you will come to know heaven on earth. With practice, you will notice that your mind wants to jump back in and create structure and identity. But we will be taking you beyond that, into the formless form. But the journey is more. But this is a large step forward. The exercise we're about to do will give you a glimmer today, I would hope, but will give you daylight the more that you practice, both about your perception of yourself and the perception of other. So you can see yourself in a different light and the other one too. You can see the beauty that exists. So in a moment, if you care to try, I ask that you place your microphones on silent and find a comfortable position for you to sit in. And let me talk you through the process. So close your eyes and come into the inner world. The first thing you may observe is the chattering of the mind. But there is a sense of peace as well. If you drift away, come back to my voice and follow the instruction. I want you to bring to mind someone that you are very connected to, not someone you are challenged by, but someone that you have a bond with. And bring this personality to mind. And feel your emotions as you connect to them. And look at their life. See their journey of life from as far back in the past as you can go, when you first met them. See their successes and their failures. The obstacles that they have faced. Their life pattern up until now. And the incidences that have made them who they are. And now see their hopes and their dreams for their future. Where they want to go, what they want to do, who they wish to become. And look into their future and see them living the dream that they wish. Come back to your chosen personality and see them how their past has brought them to where they are. And their desires for their future has led them to be and do what they are doing now. See all of their experiences from beginning to end of their lives. And recognize that they are the consciousness that is observing the whole of their life. They are not the experience, but the watcher of life. And see their consciousness standing back behind their body, just watching. And notice the consciousness just watches the birth, watches their experiences, and lives out whatever future will come. And one day their body will fall. But the consciousness remains true. The consciousness existed before the body and will continue after. You just observe the effects of life. And it's time to leave this exercise behind and begin to become present. The exercise that we did should be repeated, but using yourself as the target. And it should be repeated sufficiently that you then start to see yourself and maybe the other that you just used for the example as being more than their life that they are living. They are not the experiences. With practice, you see the interconnectedness, initially individual, one consciousness observing one body. But by staying with that conscious feeling, all consciousnesses become one. You separate or stand back from all the things which are different within the world. Names, body types, eye colors, job descriptions, to the commonality you yourself are not the experiences that you are living, but the observer of those experiences. Remember, this is the beginning of the journey, not the end. We would explore deeper into this conscious state. Don't you find it interesting that one of you in particular, you know your name, wanted to find a way to go beyond the tortures of life and sit more permanently in the truth that underlines. And before your request was made verbal, the answer was being prepared for. Now, of course, this seems like a rather strange coincidence. But does it not say that there is a greater intelligence involved than perhaps first perception reveals? Now, you all have some kind of story where these coincidences are brought into your life, where you've wanted something and it is right there. You asked and it is already there for you. But look at the process it has taken for delivery of the said item or experience. Could it have possibly been created at the time of your request, or must it have been created prior to your request? And then circumstances put into place that it is delivered within a short period of time of you verbalizing or requesting. You see, all of these are doorways, aren't they? Not just into the wonder of what is possible, but also the doorway to what is the truth, the reality, the step beyond the physicality. You request something today, it is there for you tomorrow. So how did it get there when it would have taken days or weeks or months of some planning for it to be delivered? Are you actually in control of your life? Or is something else running the life, knowing what you will need and when you will need it, and delivering? When you are ready and you wish to know the deeper truth and wish to experience rather than just believe in a deeper truth, the exercise will take you there. You see, one day you have to do that journey anyway, don't you? Because your body will fall and your consciousness will continue. Do you think it's optional? Of course not. But you can step across the rainbow bridge or walk slowly across it, struggling. And you walk easier with a little bit of practice. And I suppose this also gives you practice, doesn't it? But it gives you different eyesight as well. Again, eyesight in a very loose phrase. But as we've done in this series of talks, we have put big concepts into simple words. Listen to the wonder. Marvel at the intelligence in a simplistic way of the way this story is now told. Always look on the bright side of life. Trying to make it a little simple so your brain ain't too fried. It's kind of my bit, in it. So it's like my bit. I like to bring it down, right down into the lowest level. Anyway, let's have a go, see how we get on. Now, me old words ain't quite so eloquent, but that don't matter, does it? Well, it don't matter to me. Hopefully, it don't matter to you. So let's do it. Have you ever noticed, right? Have you ever noticed? That's like my famous introduction, isn't it? Have you ever noticed? Have you ever noticed that when you're with someone, let's say that someone is full of trouble and strife, having a difficult time of life, doesn't know whether they're left or right, up or down or whatever. And they're going for so much difficulty that you, with all your knowledge and hindsight, kind of can see it. You can see, oh, that's going to go wrong. And, oh, don't do that. You know what's going to happen. And you think, oh, they're going to be a big failure here. And you may tell someone, hey, you may tell them, say, don't think that's a good idea, mate, you might say. And you try to do things for them. Let's get this right. Let's put this right. Let's ring who we've got to ring. Let's sort this out. Let's get your money all sorted. Whatever you think you've got to figure out for them. And what happens, often they start, oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much. And after a while, they become resistant, don't they? They resist your help. And then if you push a little bit harder, then they become resentful. And no matter how good your intention, this person then doesn't see the beauty of what you're trying to do. They reject your love. Do this, do that. This should be good. This will be the right thing to do. Order this, ring that, fix this up, sort that out. Starts well, but for some reason you end up as the bad person, don't you? And you're only trying to do good, and then, of course, then you have a little bit of resentment. I'm only trying to help, you say. Trying to put you in the right order, make life easier for you. And then what happens? 5 minutes later, they've lost all their money, they're stony broke, and they ain't got 2 pennies to rub together. And they need a little bit of a help or a handout. And you're thinking, well, I told you. I saw it coming. I must be psychic. Listen to me. I know what's right. But you may not say that, but you think it, don't you? And then you have that little bit of resentment, say, look, I've got to fix this again now. If you only had done it right in the first place. But you see, for that person, they needed an incident. And they needed the falling apart, the disaster, if you wish. And that disaster, then, they needed desperation. And from that desperation, there comes their own wisdom. Now, it ain't strictly true for every situation, but for sometimes, for people, they have to learn by things being lived out. Live by experience, not live by a book. For them, the right incidence was to go through where they was, for the disaster to happen, for the desperation for them to become better, for them to achieve their improvement through the understanding. You see, that person may have been on the pathway of wisdom and understanding and realising what's happening. To tell me then that the disaster wasn't of benefit to them. You see, you can't fix another person's life. It's full of danger if you try to do it. And you shouldn't get involved unless they ask. Again, that's not strictly true for every situation. But unless they ask or request help, then of course you can't always offer it. So when things happen, it could be for their benefit. So their disaster was all part of their plan in this situation. So they needed to fall over in order to pick up so that they'd learn to watch where they walk. Have you ever put your hand too close to a flame and you feel the heat and maybe you get a little bit burnt? Doesn't the pain tell you not to do it again? Doesn't the pain say, gonna get hurt here if you carry on, there's gonna be tears? So isn't the pain kind of useful? What would it take to put that in place? Exactly the right shade of disaster for that person then to realise the old way ain't the right way. Do you think it began right that day? Or do you think it kind of began a day before, or even a week, a month, a year before? Tell you now, in some cases, it's many, many years. Whole series of events need to come into fruition just for that one occasion. And this could be the mission of life, their life, to learn this one particular thing. Don't put your hand too close to a candle flame. Maybe that's what they needed to learn. I'm sure it's other things, but you see, think about that, you know. If that's true, a candle flame, and you put your hand too close to it, you're going to get burnt. Well, a candle flame must have been lit prior to the incident. The circumstances for that person to be near the candle at that time must also have been put in place. And when that disaster happens, let's say the mind comprehends perhaps what should have been different or another way or something else. And the mind's learned a little bit. Whatever the better way to do the task is, or this is a dead end, don't go this way. But look at the person. Although there's comprehension, is that person really hurt or damaged? Hmm. And if that person would have just had a little bit of awareness, some might even say common sense, but awareness is what I'm using, then maybe that incident would never have even originated. So you see, there's more that goes on in this world than Perhaps first viewing even tells you. Hmm. This concludes another episode of Charlie's Have You Ever Noticed series. God bless you. Ta-ra. Hmm. The most effective books or movies are the ones that you do not know the story to, or the twists and turns along the way. If you knew the answer and the series of events, you'll be less interested in watching that movie. So the soul comes to observe the movie. And as soon as the soul attaches to the body, has to leave behind the plan for the life so that it can be fully watching with full attention. So I ask you all, but it is your choice. Try the exercise. Observe yourself and others beyond their body, beyond their experiences, their thoughts, their beliefs, their hopes, and their fears. And notice they are much more than that. But that is what they come to watch. From this perspective, it is rather look like looking down onto the earth, where the humanness at best looks up from the earth. Until next week, watch, observe. May peace be with you all.